Dushanbe wasn't just hosting another fight night. It was unveiling a hometown prodigy. At only 19 years old, Damir MUIBALIKHONOV walked into the IBA.PRO arena with expectation wrapped around his shoulders like an invisible robe. Fresh off a decorated amateur run and a silver medal at the continental level, this marked his first professional appearance without the vest, without the headgear, and without the safety of 3-round pacing. Across the ring stood Giorgi KAPANADZE, the compact southpaw from Georgia, a 4-time national champion with a knockout already stamped onto his young professional resume. He wasn't here to admire the atmosphere. He came to test it. The physical contrast was immediate. MUIBALIKHONOV towered at the weight, long-limbed and sharp-eyed. KAPANADZE looked built for trench warfare, shoulders tight, chin tucked, eyes scanning for openings. When the opening bell sounded, the crowd leaned forward in unison. The Tajik teenager snapped out a double jab, measuring distance like a fencer establishing range. The right cross followed with precision, cracking against guard and occasionally slipping through clean. For a moment, it looked like reach alone might dictate the night. But KAPANADZE didn't flinch. He stalked patiently, edging forward behind subtle head movement, lowering his level and searching for that one left hand that could turn applause into anxiety. The tension was thick. Youth versus maturity, elegance versus pressure, hometown hope against hardened ambition. The first round had belonged to range and rhythm, but the second introduced consequence. KAPANADZE emerged with sharper intent, cutting the ring instead of following. He doubled up to the body, stabbing a left into the sternum before whipping one upstairs. MUIBALIKHONOV retreated toward the ropes, not recklessly, but instinctively, trusting his height to manage distance. That decision nearly cost him. As he leaned back, chin slightly elevated, KAPANADZE launched a perfectly timed southpaw left that snapped the teenager's head backward. The arena gasped. It wasn't a knockdown, but it was a message. The Georgian had found the flaw. Experience whispered what youth had momentarily forgotten. 4 rounds demand sustained discipline. Sensing momentum, KAPANADZE increased the tempo, mixing short hooks inside with sneaky right hands as he pressed chest to chest. MUIBALIKHONOV responded like a composed prospect, tying up when necessary and firing straight counters during separation, but the ease of round 1 was gone. The exchanges grew rougher, gloves grinding against faces in clinches, shoulders digging for position. Each clean shot from the Georgian drew louder reactions, not because of dominance, but because of surprise. The prodigy was being tested under the brightest lights of his young career. Between moments of control and flashes of vulnerability, the narrative shifted from showcase to struggle. Suddenly, every jab carried urgency, every missed punch felt costly, and every second ticked louder than before. Champions, even future ones, reveal themselves in adaptation. The third round saw MUIBALIKHONOV step forward rather than drift backward. He planted his feet earlier in combinations, pushing KAPANADZE onto the end of his right hand with renewed conviction. The jab became authoritative, not exploratory. Each snap forced the Georgian to reset. Each straight right disrupted forward momentum. For stretches, the taller fighter dictated geography, reclaiming the center and forcing his opponent to circle wide. Yet KAPANADZE's veteran instincts refused erasure. He bobbed inside the extended arms, held the top rope discreetly during close exchanges, and bumped with shoulders to disrupt balance. Inside fighting belonged to him. Short hooks landed in tight windows, and body shots thudded with subtle damage. The round evolved into a chess match layered with physicality. One man scoring cleaner at range, the other making moments count in confined space. Whenever MUIBALIKHONOV let his hands drop after punching, KAPANADZE answered sharply, ensuring the judges had difficult decisions to consider. The crowd oscillated between cheers and nervous murmurs. mirroring the momentum swings. What stood out most was composure. The teenager no longer fought like it was a coronation. He fought like it was survival. And survival, when faced head-on, forges credibility. By the end of the round, sweat flew under harsh lights, breaths deepened, and both fighters realized the final frame would demand everything left in reserve. The fourth round represented unfamiliar ground for MUIBALIKHONOV, his first time stepping into the final stanza as a professional. Fatigue crept into movement, subtle but visible. Still, when he initiated exchanges from long range, success followed. A crisp 1-2 down the pipe stalled KAPANADZE's advance, and another right cross landed clean as the Georgian tried to close distance. For a few brilliant sequences, the blueprint looked undeniable. Jab, pivot, right hand, exit. But boxing rarely remains tidy. KAPANADZE forced the issue, sliding under shots and pressing his forehead into the taller man's chest, targeting ribs with compact hooks. The exchanges grew frantic. Gloves flashed in close quarters, shoulders collided, and both fighters accepted risk. In those chaotic moments, experience whispered again. KAPANADZE attacked when MUIBALIKHONOV squared up on the ropes, catching him between transitions. Yet the hometown fighter answered every surge with resolve, firing back immediately rather than freezing under pressure. The final minute abandoned caution entirely. Toe-to-toe, neither man retreated, throwing with urgency that blurred clean technique into raw determination. The bell arrived almost reluctantly, slicing through combat that could have easily stretched into more rounds. Arms lifted tentatively, faces unreadable. Sweat-soaked trunks clung to exhausted frames. 4 rounds had rewritten expectation into question. When the fighters stood at center ring awaiting the verdict, anticipation replaced noise. MUIBALIKHONOV believed his long-range dominance had earned it. KAPANADZE trusted that his pressure and decisive counters had tipped the balance. The announcer paused, then declared a draw. For a moment, confusion blanketed the arena before applause gradually replaced uncertainty. It was not the emphatic hometown victory many anticipated, nor was it a steal by the visiting veteran. It was reflection. Youth and experience canceling each other out across 12 intense minutes. MUIBALIKHONOV had demonstrated poise, accuracy, and flashes of elite potential, but also revealed defensive lapses that seasoned professionals target without mercy. KAPANADZE showed grit, ring IQ, and the subtle craft of a champion accustomed to physical exchanges. The scorecards mirrored the contest itself, competitive, nuanced, balanced. In truth, the outcome amplified the narrative rather than diminished it. The Tajik prospect proved he belonged under professional lights. The Georgian reaffirmed that pedigree travels anywhere. More importantly, the unresolved nature of the battle planted a seed. Rivalries begin not in domination, but in parity. Dushanbe witnessed the origin of something unfinished, a technical contest rich in adjustments, mistakes, courage, and pride. And when two fighters leave the ring with more questions than answers, boxing history quietly suggests only one solution: run it back.